Hi, it's Anne here, and today's video is my first update for my project pan for 2024. So I am doing a 24 in 2024. I did not pick 24 items at the very beginning, but the goal is to finish 24 items within this project. Kind of a rolling project pan, still similar to Team Project Pan style. So let's get straight into the products. The primer that I've chosen is the Wet n Wild Glass Correct Primer. I put a marker on the side of this, which I showed last update. Yeah, that's completely a lie. And, oh, you won't be able to see it, but unfortunately, I was like, oh, I have to show you the inside, but it's already shifted a little bit. But literally, it's like coated on the edge of the, like on the sides of the packaging, and the center is like empty. So some of it's actually moved down a little bit now, so it's kind of blocking it. But yeah, there's very little product in this, so I wasn't going to do it for this update, but now that I'm filming this update, I am going to cut this open to use the remainder of this, which should take no time at all. And I'll roll in a new primer for the next update. I haven't picked which one that is yet, so that's why I haven't introduced it in this video. I'm like, I need to figure out which one I want to roll in next. But this guy will definitely be done by next update, so that will be our first product number 1 of 24. So when I introduced this primer, it was 19.77 grams. It's now 13.16 grams. That's a difference of 6.61 grams. The foundation that I'm using is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD foundation in our 240 pink, which is a shade that doesn't exist anymore. This was their like Deluxe mini that you could buy from Sephora. I'm not sure if they're even doing this anymore, but I know this shade doesn't exist anymore. And I'm moving really well on this. So you can see on the side there where I was before. Moving down pretty good. I'm not using this particular foundation exclusively. I mix it with other foundations. So the two that I've been kind of playing with the most lately is the, it's the Moonshot glass foundation that's like a cushion foundation. It's a little light for me, but it works this time of year. So that's why I'm trying to use, that one's getting pretty close to being done. I'm trying to use that one up. And then the other one that I'm using this with is the, I can't even think of the name of it now. It's in the red packaging. I'll put it down below. Again, the shade of that is not great for me. It's what I'm actually wearing today. Once I do like a full face of makeup, the shade doesn't look too bad, but it really is not a great shade match for me. So I typically mix it with this. And again, it kind of only works for me when I'm like at my palest, I feel like there's not really a good, it's because the tone is off. It's not even like the depth. It's like the tone is off. So whether I'm pale or tan doesn't really seem to affect it. Anyway, that's a tangent. That's a totally different product. But it might be one that when this is done, I roll into this project. It's one of my older foundations, so it's definitely on the list of potentially rolling in as the next foundation to work on. The weight change on this, when I introduced it, it was 79.6 grams. It's 76 grams even now, so that's a difference of 3.6 grams. Next up is the concealer that I'm working on. I feel like I'm doing really good with this. This is the NARS Soft Matte Concealer in Cannelle. The little, like, I've done the photos, but I haven't actually like edited the photos, so I don't know what it looks side by side, but I will put the side by side up. It might look a little like that center pan has gotten smaller because I have used a brush with this a couple of times and that sort of moved the product around, but I do feel pretty confident that I can finish this by the end of the year. I'm mostly using it as a primer, like I'd say like a color primer on my eyes, to sort of blank out any veins or like pink or anything that I have on my eyelids before I go in with my eyeshadow, and it seems to work pretty well like that. So when I introduced this, it was 28 grams. It's now 27.65 grams. That's a difference of 0.35 grams. The next thing that I'm working on is my face powder, and I'm using this Marcelle Luminous face powder. It's supposed to be a translucent powder, but it's a little dark for me. This is a little slow going, just because, again, it's time of year. I don't feel like I need a lot of powder. My skin's a little bit drier. I don't feel like I need to, if I don't use a whole lot of this, I don't feel like I need to set it, if that makes sense. So I did put the Marcelle powder in here with a little bit of the Wet n Wild. It's a bit of 50-50 mix, I would say, or like a 60-40, being 60 the Marcelle and maybe 40 Wet n Wild. I probably should have done at least 50-50 because it is a little bit dark. That Marcelle one just doesn't have the right tone for me, and so that's why I need to like cut it with the Wet n Wild. I did weigh the difference in this pot because I haven't refilled it since the beginning, so I'm still kind of working on what is in this little pot. So when I first weighed this, it was 25.67 grams. It's now 23.34 grams. So that's a difference of 2.33 grams. I'm just working through this. I don't love this. And again, I think it's mostly a shade thing. It does say it's luminous. I can't even really tell you if that's really true or not. Maybe in the summertime, I'll kind of do a side-by-side with another powder just to kind of see if I can see a luminosity to it on my actual face versus like, you know, kind of hand swatch it. It's not super matte when you do like a little finger swatch, but it definitely, I don't know if it really has a luminous effect to it. So yeah, I'm just kind of working through that to work it through it. I wouldn't call it a hate pan. I don't hate the product, but it's not something that I'm like, I'm not going to go out and buy this again, is basically what I'm trying to say. Next up is my bronzer. So this is a mini deluxe size of the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer. I did talk about this in the intro that this shade is a little too dark for me. It is the bronzer I am wearing right now. It works fine in summer. It's a little intense for this time of year. I tend to have to like either go softer with it, or if I use this, it's like I really sort of blend it in, so I have like a bit more of like a overall bronze look to my face, if that makes sense. Because yeah, it can get a little intense. If and when I do purchase this, I could see myself repurchasing the milk chocolate one instead of this guy. This one's going a little slow because I also have a bronzer in my Pan That palette and a bronzer in my Partners in Cream project. This is one that I'm focusing on, like I'd say on the middle. Like I've been kind of focusing on my Partners in Cream, this one, and then my Pan That palette in that sort of order, if that makes sense. So when I introduced this, it was 27 grams even. It's now 26.82 grams. That's a difference of 0.18 grams. Next up is my blush, and I feel like, again, this is going really well. I'm going to put this side by side up. Like I said, I've done the photos, but I haven't actually edited them. But I feel like I'm moving along with this. I feel like that one edge is getting really, really thin. I'm actually trying to focus on this sort of thicker edge a little bit more with my brush, because what I'd like to do is once that thicker edge goes down a little bit more, I'm definitely going to repress this because it's starting to get awkward to use. But I'm pretty sure this is, like, I've been focusing on this guy, so I'm pretty sure this one's getting smaller. I mean, weight-wise, it's definitely getting smaller. So when I introduced it, it was 17.87 grams. It's now 17.76 grams. That's a difference of 0.11 grams. I still haven't fully vetoed buying this again. Like, I know I said in the past, I'm like, I don't really need to, but I could see myself buying this again. I really like the color. There's another shade called Exposed, I think, and I think that one I would like a little, I don't know. I think I'd like it, I don't want to say better, but differently, because it's maybe not as pink. It's a little bit more neutral, but this is a pretty neutral blush. It is not the blush I'm wearing today. I'm wearing the blush from my Pan That palette little blush quad thing. Next up is my highlighter, which I have in this little like single compact thing. It's a little small. It's from Clionadh, and it's in the shade called Mini. It used to have a scent to it, not really much of a scent anymore. And it's a very cool tone highlight. So this is a little slow going. I've been kind of mixing it as like an inner corner highlight. I'll mix it with some other highlights just to sort of like tone down that coolness to it. And it is like a pretty blingy highlight. So I feel like it's going slow, but it's going. I can see myself potentially pulling this out of the project. I'm going to keep going with it, and we'll see maybe by mid-year. Like, I feel like summertime, I'm really going to be like over this, and wanting something different. So we'll at least try and get through a quarter, like the 3 months with this, and then reevaluate in the end of March, I guess, and see what happens. See if I want to keep going with this for like couple more months and then maybe switch it out, because I don't see myself hitting pan on this. Like, it's not, even if I used it all year, I'm not even sure if I would hit pan on it. I don't know. We'll see. I know I have other projects, so other projects are a good way for me to get use out of my other highlights, and this project, maybe I just kind of focus on this. Even if I don't hit pan on it, I should maybe get like pretty good use out of it. That's the challenge with a lot of my highlighters. They're none of them are even close to pan, I don't think, and they're all very big, and it takes me a long time. So I'm just not sure. I'm not sure how to approach my highlighters, because it would be nice to get a pan on highlighter, but at the same time, I just like don't have the mental like strength to just work through one highlight, and I'd rather play with all my highlights. Like, I don't want to ignore the rest of my highlights either. I apologize if I sound a little funny. I've been sick the past couple of days. I'm getting better today, but it's been like one of those like, ugh. Not like, again, not COVID or anything. It's just been a winter issue, winter cold flu thing. And it's not been extreme, but I've been like on the cusp of it, and I'm trying to like manage it so it doesn't get worse. So just trying to take it easy. But yeah, if I feel like I sound a little wheezy and I feel like I sound a little kind of stuffed up, but I'm not stuffed up, but I feel a little bit stuffed up. So I don't know how to explain it. The weight on this when I introduced it was 6.74 grams. It's now 6.65 grams. That's a difference of 0.09 grams. The eyeliner that I've been working on, I feel like I'm making really good progress on this. I'm really happy that I threw this in the project. I don't love this. It's really awkward because it's not really an eyeliner. It's an eyeshadow stick, but I'm using it as an eyeliner. I have used it as a base a couple of times for eyeshadow looks, but it doesn't blend very nicely for that either. So it's a bit tricky. It's a gamble if that's going to be okay or not. But it's worked out so far. This is from the Estee Edit, which is a defunct brand from Estee Lauder, and it's the Edgiest Kohl Shadowstick in Black Viper. And on the lid, so you can see the previous markings from when I had this in a project before. But the last two is what I've used this past month. So I am definitely flying through this, which is what I expected based on when I had this in a project last time. So even though there seems to be like a lot of product in this, well, where can you, yeah, a lot of product in this, I don't really feel like I have an issue getting through this. So that's really good. So when I introduced this, it was 12.96 grams. It's now 12.74 grams. That's a difference of 0.22 grams. Next up is my brow pencil, which is like totally falling apart. The little like thing in here is just really like, it's so loose, and I have to like push it up and push it back down, but I am getting through this. So this is from the Winky Luxe. It's the Unibrow Universal Brow Pencil. I've had this in multiple projects. It's like, I just want to finish this. I feel like I could finish this by the end of the year. I think, again, we're going to keep this guy in the project and keep working at it. It's going to be a pain in the butt because from weights, the weight never changes on this guy. It still did not change, but I know from measuring it, I have like a little measure in my book. It's definitely gone down. And that's just going to be like the annoyance of this because it goes down so little that visually it's hard to tell. Again, it's kind of broken, so like pushing it out like doesn't always quite sit the same every time. And I don't love it. I would never repurchase this, but we're getting through it. But I don't hate it enough to like not to like stop using it or just to be like, yeah, I'm done with it. I might as well just get through it. It is what I have in my brows today with another product. So yeah, last month this was 9 grams, still 9 grams, so difference of 0. It could be one of those products too that goes up. Like the weights on that product are super annoying. And I knew that going into it because it's been in other projects, multiple projects. So next up I have my glitter glue. This is the Too Faced Shadow Insurance Glitter Glue. Had this for ages. This is like the old packaging. Slowly but surely I am getting through it. I did use it today when I put this like sort of sparkly shade on, help keep that sparkly shade in place. It's working really well. I did talk about with my Pan That palette that this is making a huge difference with that like sparkly shade in the I Meme palette. So again, this is working just fine for me, but I'm glad I'm using it because it was just sitting in my collection and it was going to go bad. So I might as well use it and not have to throw it out. Is it excessive? Probably. Like I don't really feel like I need a glitter glue for this eyeshadow, but I used it anyway. I still have my like regular primer potion from Urban Decay, and I think that might be the only other eyeshadow primer I have right now. There might be one other that I'm not thinking about, but anyway, I'm trying to keep the eyeshadow primers to sort of like a minimal because it takes forever to go through them. So when I introduced this, this was 11.67 grams. It's now 11.35 grams. That's a difference of 0.32 grams. Next up is my Agave lip mask from Bite. This is just a deluxe sample. Again, getting through this. I don't even know if I took a picture of this, to be honest. See if I put a side-by-side. I can't remember what I did last time. If I have a visual like this from my last video, I'll put it beside this. Again, no issues with finishing this up. I don't think it'll be a problem finishing this up. I will miss this though. I do like it. I feel like it's a good lip mask. Like I said, it's one that you feel like if I put it on and I go to bed, I wake up and I can still like, it has a bit of a sweetness to it. You can still taste it and feel it. And I'm like, it has a long lasting power. This is the old formula. Well, Bite's no longer a thing anymore anyway, but this was the old formula, I do believe as well. So when I introduced this, it was 5.6 grams. It's now 4.84 grams. That's a difference of 0.76 grams. Next up is my lip product in this project. Again, another Bite mini item. This is in the shade Pepper. It is what I have on my lips today with the Fenty Gloss Bomb in like Fenty Glow, the basic one. I tend to wear this like, yeah, like I just do a really sheer like bit of color for this just to give a bit of base, and then I'll put that Fenty lip gloss on top. So that does make this slow going because I'm not using a lot of product at a time, but it is going. So I do feel confident. I feel confident that I can finish this by the end of the year. I have used it a couple times as a blush as well. So we're definitely going to get through it, but it's going to take a really long time. The weight change on this was pretty small. So when I introduced it, it was 7.72 grams. It's now 7.69 grams. So that's, yeah, only difference is 0.03 grams, which is not a lot. But I do feel pretty confident we're gonna get through a good chunk of this. Again, maybe I don't finish it, but I feel like it's going to be, we're definitely going to see this go down. I am working on it. I am focusing on it. I could focus on it a little bit more. I think what's going to make it more difficult is using it in the summer months when I just want something easy. Like, that's the thing, though. It's an easy color for me to use, but the formula with being dry, because it's a matte lipstick, so it's not like super sheer, that's where it's a bit challenging for me to like reapply it. Like I generally just put it on in the morning, and then the rest of the day I use like the Fenty Gloss Bomb or like other lip products that I'm playing with. So that one is slow going, but I am working on it. I am committed to keeping that in the project. Those were all the items that I had introduced into this project. I've decided to roll in 2 more items into this project. The first one is a mascara. I might as well just throw it in because I'm using it anyway. This is the Manna Kadar mascara. It's not bad. This packaging is just a bit funny. I know it's supposed to look like a pillow, like it's got like the divots in it, but it just looks like a cigar to me. It looks weird. The thing I don't like about this, it's actually not a bad mascara. I actually don't mind the mascara, but the wand, this part of the wand is like super flexible, and I feel like it's already come out pretty bent sometimes. So at some point the like brush part might just break off. If that happens, it is what it is, but it is a brush. Like, I do appreciate a brush over like something that's too, like, what one was it? It's too plasticky and like pokes you in the eye. And this is a little bit more of a drier formula. It's not what I'm wearing today. I'm wearing the ColourPop. I don't know what the brand, like the line is, but it's just the brown mascara from ColourPop. But yeah, don't mind this, guy. So I do want to roll this in because I am using this, and this will remind me to, like, at the end of the quarter, we're going to be done with this guy. We got to toss it. Because that's one of my problems with mascara. I kind of tend to just keep using them and using them and using them for a really long time, and I'm not sure that's really the best thing. Like the ColourPop one I've had for a really long time, but it's my only brown mascara, so that's why I hang on to it. And then the other item I'm going to throw in is another brow product. So I did this last year where I had 2 brow products because that's how I do my brows. So I basically am wearing these 2 things in my brows, and I do that most days. I actually was going to throw in the NYX brow glue. I was going to say Lick It Stick It. That is not what it's called. The Thick It Stick It brow, but it's actually done. I was like, oh, there's no product left. Like, I was like, is this working? No, definitely done. So that would be in my empties. Actually, you'll see that come up in my empties. So I am rolling this guy back in, which is kind of boring because it was in my project already, but it's the only other brow gel I have, I think. So it was like, might as well just work on this until, again, it is done. And it's the Merit 1980 Volumizing Pomade in Brown. I originally didn't like this or love this, but I feel like since it's dried out, I like it a little bit better. Also, I kind of have a technique of like putting it on and then like pressing my brows like up a little bit, and I feel like that kind of gets it into the brow and sticks them into the shape that I want them a little bit more. I wouldn't repurchase this though. I've already kind of decided that. I do want to repurchase, I probably will, before that's empty, I will repurchase the NYX Thicket, probably in a different shade, in a deeper shade. The one I had was taupe, which worked fine, but I think I want to use a little bit of a deeper shade for that product. So when I started the project, I had 12 items in the project. I now have 14 items in. We probably have one thing finished. I probably should roll something else in so we don't have a 13, unlucky 13 number. But yeah, I feel pretty good about this. We're off to a good start. I feel happy about this project. I feel like I'm finding that happy medium of my like year-long project pan not being overwhelming, but feeling satisfied that I'm getting through stuff, if that makes sense. I'm finding that happy balance with this particular project. It seems to be going well for me, so we're just going to keep on doing what we're doing. Why change something that works? There's a phrase for that. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. There we go. Anyway, I hope you liked this video. If you did, feel free to give a little thumbs up down below. I'm really having a hard time talking now. And if you haven't already, I would love it if you subscribe to my channel here in Toronto, Canada. I hope you're doing well, and I'll see you sometime soon. Bye.